Are you planning on doing any decorating in your home? Well, like me, you're going to be faced with loads of challenges. And the worst challenge, I think, is filling and sanding. Well, I've got some deep chases, some large holes, some bad cracks, and imperfections in the plaster such as this and your standard screw and nail holes. Well, today on Fix It with Fowler, I'm going to show you how to repair all of them so they're invisible once you've decorated. For all these filling jobs today, I'm going to be using a combination of these products. I've got some PVA, some Easy Fill 60 and some quick drying bonding plaster. So we're going to start first with the big holes and the chases. The first stage is to remove any loose bits of plaster from around the chases or indeed around the box. Because if you leave that in place, when you come to fill it, that eventually will just lift off and you'll have to repeat the whole process again. Hoover the chase to remove any loose debris or dust. I now mix PVA glue and water on a 50-50 ratio. I then apply this to the deep holes and chases. This prevents the moisture from the bonding plaster being sucked into the brickwork and drying too quickly. Traditionally, I would have used normal bonding plaster and then a skim over the top of that. Now that process doesn't actually take very long, but for it to cure and be ready to decorate could be 2 to 3 days for it to fully dry out. So I'm going to be using this. Now this is a quick drying bonding plaster, and basically what that means is it dries within 60 minutes. You have a working time of 25 to 30 minutes, and after 75 minutes you can apply another layer. You can only add it in 11mm thickness each time. So in real deep holes or chases, you may have to do a couple of coats. However, it will definitely work out quicker than traditional plaster. So to mix it is really straightforward. I'm going to pour this into the bucket, mix about half this bucket, add some water, stir it just with a scraper or a trowel, and then we can apply it. And now apply the bonding plaster around the chase and around the box, ensuring that I don't go any deeper than 11mm. Before this coat dries, I apply scratches. This will give something for the next coat to key into. Once cured, I can then apply the second coat of bonding plaster. On to the final coat then, and I'm going to be using this Easy Fill 60. The reason I've chose this is because it sets in 60 minutes and it's really easy to sand. Now, if you need to do anything deeper than 5mm, you need to build this up again in coats. So to mix it, I like to put this into the bucket and then add water. That way you can control the consistency of the filler. Now, to apply the filler, I just use either a large taping knife or a plasterer's trowel, and that way you can get a really good finish and cut down on the sanding. This crack runs from the skirting board all the way up to the windowsill, and these walls are solid plaster. There is no plasterboard in this house. So to fix this crack is pretty straightforward, but before we go into that, if you've got a crack that runs just part way, the best thing to do is drill a hole at the end of that crack, and that should stop that crack from spreading. Now, if you've got a plasterboard wall, we'll repair it exactly the same principle. However, the only difference is we'll apply a scrim tape over the top, and that'll help bond it and hold it together. But it's not required in this instance. Rake out the joint using a decorator's tool or a scraper and remove any loose debris using a vacuum cleaner. You can now mix some Easy Fill like we did before. So now you've mixed that to a nice smooth paste, you've got a few options to apply it. You can use just something like a standard scraper or a filler knife. You can use something bigger if you've got bigger areas, and that is really good for going over that and blending that in. So I'm just going to use this for now and just work my way along this crack. making sure that I work it right in to the joint itself to make sure there's no gaps beneath the filler and the back of the groove. Ensure you press the easy fill deep into the joint, and this will prevent any shrinkage. I then make a final pass with a jointing knife. Have you subscribed to my channel? Well, if not, why not? It does not cost a thing. You're missing out on loads of great content. If I'm not making things like this, I'm fixing shed roofs, I'm mending doors, windows, doing plumbing or electrics. You name it, I've got it on my channel. So head over, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave this video a comment and a thumbs up, and that will help it reach loads of other people. For imperfections in plaster, such as areas like this or blown plaster like this, you need to remove any of the loose edges and any of the damage, then give that a hoover and that is ready for filling. The Gyprock 60 does not require you to use PVA, so that means you can get straight on and fill that. Now, a quick tip: if you're going to be doing large areas, making larger mixes of the filler, then I recommend you get something like a plasterer's hawk. You can even make one out of a bit of wood. You can then put your mix on there and it'll give you something really easy to hold with your mix on. You can get something like a plasterer's trowel to cover larger areas, or you can get these. These are large spatulas that come in all different sizes, and the beauty of these is it allows you to cover really large areas and feather the filler in with very little sanding. I now apply the Easy Fill 60 using a jointing knife. I can then make a few final passes with the large skimming spatula to ensure it requires little sanding. So that is all the walls filled now. We've done all large areas, round the sockets, and even the odd screw and nail hole. So we're ready to sand. Now, the sanding is the worst part of the job, and the key to it really is a bit of preparation. Make sure you've covered everything you can in the room to prevent any dust. And the next thing is actual sanding. If you've got small areas, you can get away just with a bit of sandpaper, maybe with a bit of block of wood, and just sand them. Larger areas, you can use something like this. This is a tool from Rolling Dog. It comes with all different grades of sandpaper that you can just Velcro on. For other larger areas, you can consider using power tools. Again, something like this, you can plug a hoover in, which is great to keep the dust down. One of my favourites is this kit here. Now this is really good. That just plugs into your hoover, just goes straight into the hose bit, and then this sucks the dust away while you're sanding, and you can adjust the flow of the air with this little valve here, and that's really good for keeping the dust down. The next thing you need to consider is your PPE. So apart from ear defenders, glasses or goggles, is your dust mask. Dust masks are really important, and you need to have something like an FP3, like one of these, and that will keep most of the dust out of your lungs. So now onto the fun bit, the sanding party. Easy Fill 60 is really easy to sand. You only need 120 or 180 grit. Make sure you sand in different directions for a great smooth finish. So that's the end of the sanding party, and I'm quite pleased with the results. As you can see, most of it, that is the finished product. It doesn't need any more going over. However, there is a few places that's going to need a little bit more filler. So this is just a case of keep repeating the process until you've got the results you want, and like everything, it all comes down to patience. So if you found that video useful, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and I'll see you soon for the next great DIY video.